From being an unwanted child, homeless, and on the verge of suicide, Precious Williams is now a confident woman showing others how to be their best authentic selves as the CEO of Perfect Pitches by Precious, a company that helps clients solve their pitching, presentation, and communication challenges. Williams went from rock bottom to being featured on ABC's Shark Tank, CNN, MSNBC, and the Wall Street Journal. A billboard in Times Square displayed her likeness. In this interview with Business Matters, Precious shared her incredible story.
Welcome to Business Matters, a presentation of the Chamber Coalition, which comprises the New American Chamber of Commerce, the African American International Chamber of Commerce, and the Hispanic American International Chamber of Commerce. To become a chamber member, be a guest, or register for our events, go to www.nacc.nyc. That's www.nacc.nyc, or call us at 718-722-9217. That's 718-722-9217.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Pearl Flip, and royalty is in the studio.
Yes!
Our guest today is Queen Precious Williams, the Pitch Queen. Precious is also an international professional speaker and a 3-time best-selling author. She currently lives in Brooklyn and has helped women entrepreneurs build and rebuild their businesses from the ground up. Welcome. So good to have you here with us.
Queen, I'm so glad to be here. Let's go.
Let's go. So, how did you get that name, Pitch Queen?
Well, how to get the name Killer Pitch Master first before I even got to the Pitch Queen.
Killer Pitch Master.
So I am a 13-time National Elevator Pitch Champion, and my last real competition was the Black Enterprise National Elevator Pitch Competition that was on May 16th, 2013 in Columbus, Ohio. And I remember to even be in a competition, you had to beat out thousands to be in the top 10 to even be in Columbus, Ohio. And here I was sitting at a table with, I'm forgetting his name right now, but he is a professor at Clark Atlanta University. He wrote Think and Grow Rich, Dr. Dennis Kimbrough. And I said, I'm going to win this competition. He's looking at me like, okay. But when they actually had the competition, when I walked out on that stage and did my 60-second pitch, and they cut it down to 5, the top 5, and I walked on that stage again and did my 30-second pitch in 23 seconds. When Robert Townsend, the host, named the 3rd place, 2nd place, and then he said, the 2013 Black Enterprise National Elevator Pitch Champion is Curvy Girls Lingerie. And I stood there for a second like, oh, that's me! Oh, my God! I thought he was going to say my name. But so he walks up to me and MC Light, yes, the rapturous herself. They said, we got a name for you. I said, what? They said, Killer Pitch Master. What? They said, because you slay all competition. I was like, what? They said, the first time you walked on stage, you walked out with confidence. They said, what was going through your mind? I said, Nas says, all I need is one mic. And you have the Black glitterati, the best in Black business. You have corporate sponsors, and I wanted them to know, hands down, I'm the best in the world at what I do. So when they gave me the title Killer Pitch Master, it felt so good. And that's how I got the name and used it ever since. And it really helped me cut through the clutter and noise of business. When you had a killer pitch master who will help you slay all competition, I don't have to say much more than that.
The name says it all.
The name says it all. And then with the success, it just kept coming. So I really want to thank Robert Townsend, producer, actor, director of 5 Heartbeats, and the rapturous herself, MC Light, for giving me that title.
And of course, you have been featured on ABC Shark Tank, CNN, MSNBC, Wall Street Journal, and more. So, Queen Precious, I know you have an amazing story of courage and resilience. Can you share that with us?
Yes, Queen. So my story begins in the inner city of St. Louis, Missouri. I grew up with a mother who never liked me from birth, and I can't express to y'all how painful that is to grow up being an unwanted child, especially when you have sisters. And so my mother always compared me to my light-skinned, green-eyed sister. And this is no tea, no shade on her. My sister is a beautiful, beautiful. She was a beautiful child, a beautiful woman. But when I was growing up, I was constantly compared to her and told that I'd never make it because I didn't have the looks. And I don't know. When I was 5 years old, I was watching Sally Jesse Raphael and Phil Donahue, and I knew I was going to be on television. And I knew I was a star. I just wasn't shining. But I knew I was supposed to be on television. I knew I was supposed to captivate people. Well, by the age of 12, my mother has done everything horrible you can think of, cut me with glass, break my nose, beat me. And so when I was 12, my mother nearly beat me to death on November 18th, 1991. My father, who was a drug addict, I was put into his custody, and that was another dark 3 years. So the first 15 years of my life, I felt like I was scratching and surviving just to exist. And then when I was 15, my grandparents stepped in to raise me. Precious Dolores Williams and Raymond Woodrow Williams, may the Lord rest their souls. They brought me into their home, and for the first time, I felt wanted. And my grandmother twinkled my toes in the morning saying, "Queen Bee, word?" Bathwater drawn, breakfast at the table. We sat as a family. And my grandma used to tell me, "You have a gift of speech. The way you speak, people listen." I'm looking at her like, "Word?" But you can't say nothing to your grandmother. You'd be like, well, back in the day, oh, no, we ain't doing that. But she sold the truth, and she made me do affirmations and said, "I'm the best in the world at what I do." At 16 years old, the principal of my high school, Mr. Floyd Cruz, invited me to speak at an event. I know it was before the mayor of the city of St. Louis. I went to my English teachers, and they wrote my speeches. Thank you, Miss Ruth Hill and Miss Addie B. Jackson. My first speaking engagement was before the mayor of the city of St. Louis, Mayor Freeman Bosler Jr. Standing ovation. I'm still like, I didn't even read the speech ahead of time. I just knew what to do in the moment. My second speech was before the governor of Missouri. So I was around politicians and those type of people. And you would never think an unwanted child would be around the most important people that are in the state of Missouri. And from there, I was paid to speak all over at scholarship fundraisers and things like that. Never wrote the speeches because I didn't know how. Eventually, I became the Miss Beaumont 1996-1997. I graduated from Beaumont High School as a valedictorian of the class of 1997. Went off with a full scholarship to Spelman College. Went off on a full scholarship to Georgetown University Law Center. Got kicked out in 2002, yes, 20 years ago. Got another scholarship, full scholarship to Rutgers School of Law, Newark, which I started in 2003. Had a nervous breakdown in 2004. Do y'all see a theme here? Y'all see? She's stopping and she's starting. She's stopping and she's starting. I eventually graduated in 2007, passed the New York State Bar on my first try, and I said, okay, all right, we're about to get it. I'm about to be better than Johnny Cochran. I'm about to slice and dice. Y'all, it takes a long time to be better than Johnny Cochran. And over time, I grew to realize that that wasn't my journey. I left my ex-fiance in 2010 for parts unknown, no reservations, and wound up meeting a very famous Hollywood actor on Craigslist. Yeah, I know, y'all, but think back, it was 12 years ago. Wasn't like today. Please don't go there. And we had an amazing love affair. And for the first time, I looked at myself differently. And I couldn't find lingerie in my size. No Victoria's Secret, no Ashley Stewart, no Lane Bryant, no Macy's, none of that. Had anything. And so I was forced to wear black. And I said, this isn't right. I didn't realize how much of a trailblazer I was. And so when no one would invest in my company, they told me to be an attorney, and that's stable. I'm so glad I didn't stay. The truth is, I had to learn how to pitch on the spot. Went to an event I couldn't afford. Pitched to the producers of MSNBC. They loved that first pitch so much, they put me on national television with Your Business with J.J. Ramberg on February 9, 2012. Yes, that's 10 years ago. And in 54 seconds, I walked away with $500,000. But remember, people said I was too fat, too black, no Ivy League degree. All the things that did go wrong, and I still got it right. So from there, they told me to enter pitch competitions. I won 13 out of 14 national championships against Harvard, Yale, Stanford, Columbia, cool tech companies and all of that. And in the end, it allowed me to start my second company, which was Perfect Pitches by Precious, because people wanted to give me money to teach them how to pitch. They said, you don't sound like anybody else. I was like, I'm telling you, Killer Pitch Master, that's what we do. And so that took off because people were already wanting to give me money. But I wanted to show them how to win. And I started off with women, especially women of a certain age, because sometimes we forget who we are, or we think we're too old, or if the world loves younger women, what role do we play? That's why I said, you can't call me a plus-size woman. You can't say big girls need love, too. I said, we full-figure divas and plus-size fashionistas up in here. And even when I was on Shark Tank saying that, the look on their faces was like, what? So if y'all don't learn anything from my story, I went from unwanted, most hated, to celebrated, from last to first. And then y'all think that's over. Oh no, it got, when the love of my life, that actor, died, I went into such a deep grieving that I lost everything and became a severe alcoholic. Yeah, I was drinking champagne and then got down to drinking the hardest vodka because I couldn't afford anything anymore. Tried to take my life on my 38th birthday, and Lord knows I'm 43 years old now. And so he gave me a second chance. And all the things that I learned, I thought I had learned the first time in business, were perfected when I came back. So I came out of homelessness on September 1st, 2018, restarted my company, Perfect Pitches by Precious. And even though people told me it was impossible for me to have the best companies in the world to see me, to be on television, to be in media, and to have trained over 300 pitch champions to win millions of dollars, or to see them winning the biggest or getting the type of clients, I had to do it first myself. And so it's still a shock to me that I got Google, LinkedIn, Microsoft, Federal Reserve Bank, Intuit, QuickBooks, SiriusXM. Like, I can go on and on. Do y'all hear the names I'm throwing out there? I had to go big, not small. I went big to prove once and for all I am the greatest of all time when it comes to pitching. And that is why when they say the killer pitch master, as much as I love that, I love now being the pitch queen, because I dominate my space and I get to share this with the world at 43 years old. I am not tired. I am not through. I done been through homelessness, addiction, been clean and sober almost 6 years on my birthday. And I've had everything bad happen, and yet last to first, from poverty to purpose to profits. Damn right I love my name. Killer Pitch Master, now AKA the Pitch Queen. That's how I got here, Queen.
So obviously you just shared your journey and it has not been perfect.
Not at all.
How do you share with someone to spin imperfections into gold and turn tragedies into triumphs, stumbling blocks into building blocks?
Ooh, I love all that.
What's your best advice?
My best advice, first of all, is connect with your higher power. Mine is God. And when I was in a Christ Centered Life Transformation program at the Bowery Mission Women's Center, I don't think I ever knew God. I was like, yeah, I keep talking about him, but when I was at rock bottom, that's when I experienced him. That was when I was able to pour out my heart, because there was nothing. I had no achievements to fall behind, no family, no friends. It's just me. And I feel so down. And he used to whisper in my ear, the second is going to be better than the first. The second chapter is better than your first. I got in my Bible, I started reading the scriptures and realizing the people in the Bible aren't just characters. Those are real people, and the things that they experienced back then, we experience today. There's nobody in the Bible who is this perfect story, that they did everything right other than Jesus. And so if they went through it back then, what makes me think that couldn't happen to me? The second thing is creating a supportive network who nurtures your dreams and pushes you. So we all need people that gonna get all in that booty and be like, I know you slip it. I know you ain't turned that in. I know you need to get it better. I love having people like that, and having a support network with therapists, psychiatrists, just so I stay on the right track. 3, I was vulnerable enough as I was climbing out of darkness. I realized that you need a supportive network, but you also need to be around people who've never been blessed to see your talent before. So that meant I couldn't hang around people who were just like, oh, you're doing so well. I needed to be around people who were like, yo, we ain't never seen that before. So now they're going to bring me into bigger and better spaces. So the people who turn their backs on me, I'm not trying to go to nothing that they at. But I want you to see that I can leapfrog around you and be in alignment with my Heavenly Father, who said, we ain't looking at these people. Your second chapter, you're going to show people how you can make every mistake. You can fall flat on your face. But if you got me in that corner pocket, I'm going to make doubters into believers, and your enemies your footstools. So all of that took time for me to see as I walked those streets, as I walked those streets. And then I invested heavily in my craft, meaning I ate, slept, and breathed pitching, because I know that's my talent. And I was focused on my clientele. So I knew that once you have such a tragedy happen in your life, you have to do it big. And that success changes everything. So when I got LinkedIn as a client, and they're my longest client, in fact, I just did a training with their interns on the 1st, that led other big companies to work with me. that led to billboards in Times Square. I mean, do you know the face that my mother didn't love has had 2 billboards in Times Square with my books? Another thing is I did things that I wanted to do, and I wanted to showcase that I really am gifted. So I wrote books, never thinking my first book, Bad Bees and Power Pitches, for women entrepreneurs and speakers only, would be a #1 bestseller, and that Forbes magazine would contact me to write about my book. Who does that on your first? Who gets awards on your first book on pitching that has a title like that? And finally, fortune favors the bold. The bolder you are, that's the bolder you got to move. So if you're hanging around the same people that never liked you, I don't know why you're still hanging. Go around people who are doing better than you, and they will pull you to them. And I know that was finally, but I'll say this. When I was able to talk from a position of power and success, my backstory meant more to people then. I didn't lead with the tragedy of my past. When people meet the killer pitchmaster, a.k.a. the pitch queen, or they hear my bio, they have this image of me. And then when they meet me and see that I'm regular, degular, schmegula, I just have an extraordinary talent. It makes them love me more than if I was on yachts all the time, which I've been on yachts. I've been in a lot of great places around the world on somebody else's dime. But they get to see me, flaws and all, and I did it anyway. So that's how.
All right. So obviously you are the killer pitch master, you are the pitch queen, and you work with women entrepreneurs. What is
entrepreneurs, speakers, and authors?
Right. So what is a pitch and why is it so important?
See, a pitch is a short, brief way of introducing you, your business, your brand, your product or service, which you hope will get closer to the sale, a better relationship. But I got a better way of describing a pitch too, because that's that Google version. We ain't biting off no Google. Here's the way I want y'all to think about pitching. And I'm a full-figure diva, so you're not gonna bring that food in. You know how we gotta do. So imagine it's the holidays. For whatever culture you have, whatever national whatever it is, that big holiday. You're not cooking. You're going over to somebody's house. It could be Big Mama's house. It could be your partner's, whatever. As you're going over to the house, imagine walking through that front door. What do you smell? The odoriferous emanations. You're like, oh, yeah, I'm about to go ham on them. Go ham and cheese. You're seeing your family and your friends. Someone politely says dinner. You're like, oh, I'm going to the table. Got your plate ready and everything. So I want you to imagine getting that first plate together. What are you going to put on that plate? Whatever if you're pescatarian, vegetarian, vegan, or just look like me, eat everything, what's that first plate going to look like? What's the first things you're going to put on that plate? Just think about it. As you stare at that plate, that plate represents you, your talents, your skill sets, your abilities. It's everything about you and your essence. Now, after grace is said, look down at that plate again. Pick up your first fork or spoon. What are you going to dig into? What's the first thing you're going to taste? And as you dig into it and pull it, I want you to look at it. That is what a pitch is. Out of that big plate of all that delicious goodness, a pitch is a short, juicy morsel, a taste of more to come. So you have to give them bite by bite, not the full plate. Ain't nobody entitled to the full meal deal. So when you're thinking about pitching yourself, are you giving a plate or are you giving just enough for them to want to get a little bit more taste? So if you feed them that way, they'll keep coming back. You can turn prospects into clients. Now they're repeat buyers. What? Because they don't know what all you have in your arsenal. So as a killer pitch master, I specialize in all 6 forms: elevator, media, investor, sales, speaker, and interview. But the best thing about me is I can take your pitches from trash to straight cash. Do you hear me though? Do you see how easy that was? Your pitches from trash to straight cash. I'm like Visa, I'm everywhere you want to be with a pitch. So if you want to slay all competition, you need to call it a killer pitch master. Do you see how simple that is? I could go on, I do this and that. Y'all don't care about that. If you've ever wondered why people are not checking for you, why not buying from you, you might be playing in the wrong playground. I'm sure you got to play in the right one. You watch what everybody else is doing. Why don't you make yourself the celebrity of your own brand? That's why you come to the killer pitch master. Because I'm not trying to have you fighting with crumbs when I want you to get the full meal on your own. You want the right type of clients to see you? Start talking their language. But just show that you know how to get them to where they want to be. And that's it. That's how you should look at pitching. Look at pitching is, am I giving a full plate? It's overwhelming to get all that choice. But if you specialize in one for right now, people will go from seeing you as everybody else to, when I need that, she's the only choice that matters. And that is what you want with your pitch, to be the only choice that matters. The only, not a series of choice, the only choice that matters. So when it comes to pitching, who you going to call? Got a bad pitch? Who you going to call? The pitch queen.
All right. So forget the rest. You are the best.
Trying to tell you.
All right.
Trying to tell you.
Let's talk about bad bitches and power pitches right now.
Oh, shoot. I know I can say the full title. Okay. So my first book is Bad Bitches and Power Pitches for women entrepreneurs and speakers only. And I wrote that book not long after getting out of homelessness. So I didn't have any high hopes for it. But what I wanted to do with that book was not give a series of templates for I do this to help. Man, that's boring. I said, wouldn't it be more beneficial for women especially to know what type of pitch person they are? And so in my journey as the killer pitch master, there's 7 types of branding personas I ran into. The unstoppable bitch, the powerful bitch, the flawed bitch, the mysterious bitch, the funny bitch, the numbers bitch. Like, so there's 7 that you run into. And once you start reading through each chapter, you'll start to understand which one or two you're between. So then once you understand the psychology of pitching and how to use those branding personas to your advantage, then I wrote Bad Bitches and Power Pitches, the workbook. So now you're going to put in that work in creating pitches that are specific for your brand, your book, your product or service, and what makes you the only choice that matters. I'm so glad I came up with that, because no one would have bought the book if it said The Art of the Killer Pitch. Bad Bitches and Power Pitches was so fire. People told me they wouldn't buy it. But when they saw everybody else buying it, they were like, shoot, I had this peg wrong. I was like, you should have. But the fact that they had that reaction meant I was doing my job. You either were loving it or hating it, which means that you have a reaction and you want to know. So that's why I wrote the book. And because I did it like that and not formulate like everybody else, that's what made it stand out to the biggest companies in the world. And they bought it. Would you believe these companies buying my book with that title? Girl, when men started buying the book and sending pictures to me, I said, I did my job.
You did
the
your
men would
job.
feel like fear of missing out. They're like, hold up, I can write a book for women.
Well, they want to know what the women are doing, you know. So, Precious, how can we, learn more about you, give out your information?
To learn more about me and why they even call me the Pitch Queen, you can go to my website, www.perfectpitchesbyprecious.com. On my website, you can purchase all 4 of my books, Bad Bitches and Power Pitches for women entrepreneurs and speakers only, Bad Bitches and Power Pitches, the workbook, Pitching for Profit, the Bad Bitches playbook to convert conversations into currency, and my 4th book, which just came out, which is called The Pitch Queen. Or you can see how you can work one-on-one with me or in groups. If you want to hire me as a speaker, holla at your girl.
All right.
And then on Facebook, I'm at Perfect Pitch P. On Twitter, I'm at Perfect Pitch P. On Instagram, I'm at Perfect Pitches P. And on LinkedIn, you can find me under Precious L. Williams, Killer Pitch Master. I always got to stay on brand. And so those are the ways that you can definitely get in contact with me. And if you are on my website, look to my services or look to the events that I have coming up. I am booked into 2024. And that is the power of being able to ignite your pitch and dominate your niche.
Talking about being booked, you're supposed to make an appearance at my Women's Leadership Executive Program. So I hope you make at least an hour for me.
You see what she said? I got to show up, y'all. Yeah,
you got to show up.
You see, I should do that. See, that wasn't even no pitch. That was a command. So I'm just going to show up and get some act right.
All right. So thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure, such an honor, and I look forward to having you back again.
Thank you, my queen. I'm so glad to be here.
Our pleasure.
You are invited to the Chamber Coalition Small Business Sense Bootcamp. Join our 5-session webinar series where we provide education and business preparation for small business owners and startups. Learn the basics of business planning, how to finance your business alternatives and your credit as an asset, marketing and social media strategies, small business solutions, legal, tax, accounting, banking, and insurance, and how to do business with the government and corporations. Register at startupsbootcamp.eventbrite.com.